Welcome to the U Thought Wrong podcast, where we share stories of individuals just like you who have found ways to conquer their fears and are excelling at life. Okay, welcome back to U Thought Wrong podcast. Today's conversation is a special one. In the world of running, everyone talks about pace, personal bests, and counting miles, but today's guest measures his miles differently. We're talking about the seasons of life that redefine who we are, the power of showing up as a father when you didn't have the roadmap yourself, and how a community can become family. He reminds us that it's not about what we take from running, it's about what we leave behind. Quinton Q. Jacobs is in the house. Welcome to the podcast, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You know, you've impacted a lot of people over the time, including myself, and through running especially. But before we get into that kind of aspect of things, I want to know a little bit about who you were before running really came into life for you, you know. So what was life like for you growing up?
Man, I was just regular dude. Worked hard. Single parent family.
Yeah.
It was just my mom and I growing up in Scarborough. After school programs. My mom worked 2 jobs. That type of story in those kinds of communities. So kept myself active. I did art a lot. Used to draw. Went to a art school, and so that kind of helped me navigate some of my earlier years. And always active. Yeah. Always active. But a hard worker. And I think at the end of the day when I came out of high school was like jumping into work and trying to kind of find my way that way made up most of my time or most of my earlier years. That's good.
So kept you out of trouble a little bit.
Well, I don't say that. I had a window. I had a window of trouble, but I think I sidestepped a lot of where that could have gone by just jumping into the workforce and just working at a young age.
Yeah. And you mentioned a single family home. How was that growing up and how did that shape you early on?
It's such an interesting question because it's so relative. It's compared to what?
Yeah.
To me that was just life.
Yeah.
And I never really stopped to think, and maybe it's just because even from where I grew up, I wasn't exposed to a lot of dads. Yeah. Right? Quite honestly, I think the stats back in that time where the neighborhood where I grew up was 80% single parent families. It was just normal. Yeah. So I never really wanted for a dad or wished I had a dad. It wasn't until later in life that I started to notice that there were gaps or pieces missing that could have been filled by another parent. Mm-hmm. And certainly when I became a dad myself. Yeah. But growing up, it was just life. Yeah. Yeah.
And talking about that, becoming a dad, I know how it has affected me, having my little one, Lucia, 6 years ago, yeah. And I know how much it has impacted me. How did that impact you in your life?
I mean, the thing about having kids, and any parent knows this, is it just, in an instant, shifts your priorities. Yeah. You go from being the most important person or priority in your life to the second. Yeah. And so just that shift changes the way you see the world, the way you see yourself, and the way you see sort of your purpose. Yeah. So, and me growing up as an only child in a single parent family, I always wanted to have kids and I always wanted to do it my way. Yeah. Have a chance to kind of right those wrongs or fix it or
be there a bit more.
Be there and be active. So that was one of the things was not only do I want to have a family and be a dad, I want to be an active dad. Yeah. Yeah.
No, 100%. And I feel that because every time I feel like things are taking away from that family time, but I know it's going to improve how she looks at me and everything too. So it's it's a tough combination of being out so much, but then but at the same time, when you are with them, that's when you have to be present, right? Yeah. Just be in it.
It's a delicate balance, because you want to give them something to look up to, which requires you being away. And you said it the best, presence. Yeah. Right? Can can you be present when you're with them, or when you're present when supposed to be present? If you do that, I think you're all right.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm just, even with social media, everyone's on their phones and stuff, like, so I'm trying to get better at like just putting that phone down, or not having to answer. I feel like I have to answer every call right away and stuff too, right? So
I'm actually good at that. Like I'm actually that's like one of my superpowers. Like I can be caught between looking 4 years or 5 years out, and falling into like all the things that are coming up, and then juxtaposing that with being hyper present. And Britt and I are good at that. Like when we're home, we'll put our phones down, upside down. My phone, people are like, if I lose my phone, let me call it. I'm like, call it. It doesn't even vibrate, right? Like, and I've had times too where my kids have been reaching out to me, Dad, I've been calling you for. I'm like, I'm watching shows, or Britt and I are just chilling. Like, I'm not at your beck and call. There are moments where the phone's upside down and it's not connected to me in any way, shape, or form. And like, I actually really appreciate those moments and cherish them. So
no, and it feels good too, because then you're just like, and it reminds you that you don't need to be on it all the time, right? Like we grew up without it, So
we're gonna be okay.
Exactly.
So it's always funny because I have a moment where I'm like, shoot, like what if something happened, or what if like, should I be anytime my kids call? But then I'm like, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, I just want to see if there's food in the fridge. And I'm like, okay, like, exactly. So.
No, that's but so like for the running aspect, when did running really become something in your life?
When I had kids.
I
never really, I was always into fitness. I played soccer when I was younger. It wasn't until I had kids that running became like something that I took more seriously. And I think that's just because it offers flexibility, right? I would sneak out when the kids were sleeping, or squeeze it in wherever I could. Whereas like a soccer game or something, there's a dedicated time for the pitch in the game. So you have to build your life around that sport. Running, I could squeeze into my life. So I think that's when running really kind of gelled and fit with the type of dad that I was trying to be. And it just kind of spun off from there.
Do you feel that like when you started running, it was more about, okay, I want to chase some goals and stuff now, set some goals first, and then all of a sudden you got that first one out of the way, and was it just like
1,000%? I remember where I was standing, who I was talking to, even what I was wearing, when my friend brought this idea of running a race. And I remember looking him in his face and saying, are you crazy? I can't run 5K. Like I remember vividly saying those words. I can't run 5K. Are you crazy? But of course you run 5 and then it turns to 10, half, full.
Ultra marathon.
And and now I don't even, if I run 5K, I don't even tie up my shoes. Like 5K is, I'm not doing laundry if I run 5K.
No. Like Amber like jokes around. She's like, 10K now is like a short run for you.
It's a short run. It's just, let me just go do this real quick.
Just a 10K, just a 5K.
I'm trying to think the last time I ran 5K, and it's not a flex. Unfortunately, the thing is when you're around runners, you get desensitized. And you hear people saying, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go do 30 this week," and no one bats an eye. No one. They're like, "Oh yeah, how'd it go? How you feeling?" All right.
And talk to normal folks that are just like, that's you're doing this for what reason?
Yeah, again? For what? No, it's it grew.
And then like you've done like the Boston, which is like, the pinnacle of a lot of people's run careers, just to try and get there and everything. And like we've had chats before about like wanting to accomplish that, but then at the same time, like when you take a step back, it's just like it's just the Boston Marathon. It's just another marathon kind of thing. Like when did that kind of switch in your mind of chasing times, and then now for it to be just this is who I am.
No, I think So I've talked about this idea of running having seasons.
Yeah.
And most people, they jump into running and they're introduced to it in the physical season, right? You start running and it's how fast are you running? How far are you running? Boston, nipple Band-Aids, gels, you name it. It's driven by your physical performance. Yeah. For me, it took going through divorce to like shift my relationship with the sport and discover that it's just far more dynamic than we've given it credit for. Like, I would go out and run with no watch and just cry, just sort out my problems, just deal with life, deal with where I was. And it was less about my physical well-being and more about my mental health. And then that kind of evolved into me considering like, what else is there to this sport? And then next thing you know, you discover this other season where you're running in Alaska on a mountain or through the desert in Chile. And you're not thinking about your mental health or your physical health. You're just in awe at where you are on the planet. Yeah. Like you're using running to experience adventures. Yeah. And then that just unlocks this whole other season. Yeah. And the last season I'm in, and probably the one that I found the most rewarding, is this idea of running through other people's experiences. Mm-hmm. I'm running with the kids, or running with new runners, or running with some of the youth that we run with in programs, and like I'm not even thinking about me. Yeah. I get to re-experience the sport anew through other people's experiences, and like it's so rewarding, and it trumps any. I said this to someone like before, and when I actually think back, my most rewarding moments with the sport of running have been in seasons not connected to my physical performance. Yeah. Like you said, run Boston, I've done some really cool things physically, but I think they've paled in comparison to some of the other things because those are all locked into just me. Yeah. So like I impacted one person by doing something great for me. Yeah. Whereas in all these other opportunities, you get to share these moments with other people. So it just feels fuller. Yeah. No,
and I like that's what kind of got me into wanting to continue to run more, and then meeting people like you. Like I feel like I've known you for some time, but it's only been 6 years, maybe 5 years more so. But it's like with my Move for Change now, it's really like when I did the run around the school a couple years ago, I had that feeling like, okay, I'm running 65K, and I'm having conversations with everyone that's doing it with me. Everyone's like, how are you talking right now? I'm just like, I'm having a great time, like learning about you. There's students there. Yeah. They're like, I'm inspired to do some running now and whatnot, so, and then this guy came from the community. He was, ran a couple laps, and he just like, hold on. He went home, changed, came back and ran like another 20 laps with me,
I remember. And there's a fire truck, and there's ice cream, and there's, like if you had gone and done that run by yourself and did it 10 times faster, it would have had less impact than it did because it was shared. Yeah. Right. And it's hard for people to wrap their heads around it. I said, what? You could have done it 10 times faster, but no one would care as much. They cared because they got to experience and have a little taste of it and touch it and be connected to it in a real special way. Yeah. And like, I'm excited to share that piece or that season. Yeah. And then I say seasons because who's to say I don't wake up one day and say, how fast can I go? Yeah. And go back to that, Yeah. But right now, that's just not the season I'm in. So I like to say if it's winter time, you don't show up in your shorts. Yeah. Right? So you show up appropriately for the season you're in. Yeah. So if you see someone showing up at, say, a community run with their Garmin R chargers, headphones, they got their hats down low. Ready. And then like the community run starts and they take off, they're in the wrong season. Yeah. Right? You're not going to win the community run. Yeah. So it's just kind of recalibrating and saying, listen, am I showing up the way I want to show up in this season? Yeah.
And kind of taking a back step to, you mentioned your divorce. How much do you think that affected you into kind of partially creating the community that you have and like your family that you have now, like going through, I'm sure, some dark times and stuff too, right? and like was running one of those main things that really helped to keep you from going deeper into that space?
Yeah, I mean, I going through that was recluse. Like I kind of retreated into my own thoughts and feelings, and I wasn't avoiding my situation, but I was definitely giving myself the time to be present and grounded and trying to figure out how I was going to navigate this.
Yeah.
And running has just been a constant for me. It's been something I could rely on. It's been a safe place for me to that meets me in any season that I'm in.
Yeah.
So running was definitely a big part of that, and that kind of started that new era of me rebuilding kind of a new network as a foundation for myself and the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like one of our first chats was at Parkdale, when I was really trying to like see who the people in the run community that I really wanted to connect with. And I remember vividly like us running around, and I found you because I'm like, hey, I know that's Q. I don't think I've met him yet, you know? So found you, like introduced myself as we were running. Just kind of talked about what I was doing, and you're very encouraging, you know, and I think that's what a lot of people appreciate about you. Like you're very open and you're inviting. And yeah, you talked about, you know, your divorce a little bit, and you talked about being intentional with who you let in and who you are surrounded. Like you are connected with thousands and thousands of people around GTA, Scarborough, downtown, everything, but you have your core people. And I feel like it's Parkdale, like one of those places where that kind of flourished, that kind of connections with the right people.
A little bit. I mean, actually, I met a lot of friends volunteering. I met a lot of my friends, like, who I now consider family, like, in so many different places.
Yeah.
But Parkdale is just, like, has always been a constant as well. Like, that's a community that's been around for ages, and I've kind of dipped in and dipped out depending on the season that I was in. But it's always been there. It's always this group of people that have consistency. Every Tuesday, rain or shine, they'll be there. So, yeah, it's definitely one of the spaces where I've relied on. You know, but there's so many different communities out there.
No, and that's what I love seeing what you guys did, especially last year. You know, because sometimes I've gotten the sense that the clubs are the clubs, and this is my club. Because I've got asked a lot of times, people are like, what club are you with? And I'm like, I dibble dabble depending on the season, like and where I'm at and whatnot. So then they're like, you're not part of a club? I'm like, no, I love all of the clubs. Like they're all cool people there and whatnot. And I think like what you did with the Crew Love last year and just bringing all the crews together. So then some people can actually see that, you know, oh, I don't need to just be part of this one club. Like, I'm not going to offend anybody if I go to a different club or whatnot, you know? So it showcased that, like, the Crew Love, like, it's all of us are here just to get outside, have some runs, like, how like, bringing those kind of people together and just, you know, making them feel comfortable. How has that, like, been to like create the culture that you're in, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's doing away with ownership. Like, you know, I'll put it this way: like when people say community builder, I get suspicious. I don't even consider like those two. First of all, community is already a word that's like I'm listening carefully to. Because most people don't agree or understand what they're saying. It's a catchphrase. Community builder is even worse. It's like saying I just ran a 5K marathon, right? Those who know. Right? If you don't know, it's no problem. You're just saying words, and you're not trying to hurt anybody. Your intentions are good, but people that know marathons know that that's not a thing, and people who know community know that you don't build communities. It's not a house. You know, you can build a network of people. You can build an event, but community exists. Community is a group of people with similar likes and passions, and it's a place that exists because of the people that are a part of it. So I don't consider myself a community builder. I like to think that I foster community. You know, I like to pour into communities. So I don't, and it comes from this idea of like, what's the incentive to say I'm a community builder, right? It became popular because brands were creating communities, but really they were creating groups of customers. But for us, people who actually care in the power of community, genuine, authentic communities, these tribes, these groups of people that elevate each other's lives by being there for each other. For us, it's a place that exists that you want to pour into. So I didn't create Parkdale, but I love the community and I love pouring into it. I didn't create Kickback, but I love what it is. I consider it family, and I love to think to myself, like, what can I do to contribute to this space? So my role in these places is less about me owning it, leading it, building it, and more about me pouring into it. And it's something that I want to share with the people that are in my network. So like Crew Love was an example of that. It's saying like, listen, just don't worry about ownership. Own about just being a part of it. What can I do as one piece of this network of people to make it better?
But it takes pieces to build something anyways, right? And to create something. And I can always remember when I was doing my fundraiser, there was someone on the board when I was talking to TDSB, and they're like, what are you getting out of this? And I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like, there's going to be a new track in like outdoor fitness area for the community and the schools. And she's like, yeah, but like, what are you getting out of it? I'm like, I get to use it. I get to see other people use it.
Exactly.
You know, like I'm not here doing it for me. You know, it's something for everybody. There's thousands of people in this community, and if they can walk now when it's raining instead of only on dry days because the track is muddy when it rains, right? So just those little things.
But you see, like some people, and it's a cultural thing. It's definitely, there's been a shift, and you know, we like Ubuntu Collective came out of this era after the pandemic where people were just trying to survive. We're in survival mode, so it was all about self-care, self-help, do for self. The focus was the individual. So whoever this person is like, what are you getting out of it? Because they're seeing the world from their perch. And so our goal is to like flip the whole thing upside down and say, it's not what I'm getting out of it, it's what I'm giving. The whole point is I'm just trying to contribute. I'm trying to pour in. I'm not trying to pour out. Slowly, I think it's catching.
For sure. And you mentioned Ubuntu, and like you've done, how long have you been like volunteering, I would say, you know, because then it gets to the point of like creating and building
I've been volunteering for years, years. And when the pandemic happened, a lot of organizations had to shut down their volunteer programs. Ironically, it's when the needs were the highest. So there were a small group of people that would put themselves at risk, get tested every week or, you know, every time they go in. And because of kind of where I was at, I was one of those people. And then that just kind of led to the creation of Ubuntu Collective. A lot of the friends that I met, like I said, I met through volunteering. So like Dre, Anok, a lot of these guys I met by giving back to community. So it was just a way of us creating like a blanket that we could kind of bring all of the people that wanted to give back underneath it.
And like we do start to finish too, right? And that's like such an amazing thing. And again, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing it too, right? So same kind of feeling of, you know, just being around the right people. And like I've always wanted to volunteer, and now I think this is my third or fourth year already. Like it feels like it was just yesterday we started.
Coach Julian, and there's kids coming in when you're not there saying, hey, where's Coach Julian? Where's Coach Julian? So I think what's great about that program too is like I've been with Start to Finish for about a decade now, and I'm seeing some of the kids that, you know, way back were little rolling up on me in the mall. I don't even recognize them. Little crustache on their face. And
deep voices
and saying Coach Q. And I'm like, yeah. And a lot of them recollect the impact that the program and some of our coaches have had. And that's really rewarding. And you don't always get that. Or we don't do it for that because you never know the impact you're making. But every now and then you get some feedback. And that really goes a long way.
For sure. I always, like, whenever we do the final race, like, the parents are, especially last year, they're just like, man, like, every single Tuesday, the kids were being like, I'm excited to go. And they're like, Mom, we have to be ready for the race. Like, we can't be late and everything. Like, they're so excited for it, so, and they just showed their gratitude for that. And it meant a lot, and it, like, makes us feel good that we're, just helping, change the mindset of one kid maybe. And then that's a beautiful thing, right? So, like, having all of this together, it just is, for watching what you do, it seems so effortless, and then, like, I'm kind of understanding of how you feel, and just like, this is what, if everybody did a tenth of this, the world would be a better place, just.
And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Like, we have all these coaches, and even with Ubuntu, like, I had a hand in creating the space, but more and more, ask anybody, I keep saying it's not mine, it's ours. And I'm trying to pull myself away from being the face of it, because I don't want to be the face of it. Like, I want it to genuinely be a collection of humans that owns the space, just like we have a bunch of us as coaches. And then you see these kids now showing up in other programs like Kickback. And I get, like, the honor of running maybe a young person's first 5K with them. It's one program. And then their first half and full marathon with them several years later. And that's the proof that the drive, the consistency, the perseverance, all these things that we hope they're taking with them,
for sure,
are sticking with them.
And like you mentioned, like, I was with you guys in Chicago for Abdul's one, and, like, talking to you when we were in Chicago about, like, his journey. It's just like, he was one of those kids, man. I was like, gotta, like, keep an eye on him. And then mentored him through Start2Finish, and then now he's a mentor at Kickback himself, right? And being there to start the race with you guys was, like, it was amazing. And just to, like, see you guys after, and his smile and, like, his sense of accomplishment too.
And his limp, his earned limp.
These marathons don't come with no pain, so, like, it's going to hurt. And that's what I think a lot of people are scared of doing it. But at the same time, it's those feelings of, like, you finish, like, I'm never doing this again. And then a few days later, it's just like, okay, when's the next one?
I can do hard things. And that carries well past running.
And just to see Abdul, like, follow him now, and he's super supportive of what I'm doing too. But just to see him and be in all, like, some really cool spaces and everything, and Kickback has really opened the door for him even more so, and he's, like, fully stepped in and taken, all the confidence that he's created to give to other kids now. And he's one story. Like you said, it just snowballs. He's really making an impact on a lot of other kids, and it's it all just keeps snowballing. We want to talk about the escape movement that you created or built, and with your homies. I think the first one was the one to New York. And then it blew up essentially into getting into not just in one continent, another continent too.
I mean, like, wait, how far back do we want to go?
Just from when we started
New York? Like, how it started, or you want to just get into kind of like the journey of it?
No, just the journey of it.
I mean, it started with Escape to New York, and this opportunity to, like, celebrate the two different crews or the different communities in New York and in Toronto. And that just unlocked this whole other era of taking the race out of it, focusing on the experience and giving back while we're at it. So instead of making it about the fastest, who can get from point A to point B the fastest, almost like, how can we actually celebrate this landscape and this experience in a special way? In New York, when we did it, everyone said, when's the next Escape to New York? I want to do the next Escape to New York. Because it was new and fresh, and people were like, this is kind of a cool idea. And we were just like, I know I had so much fun in the planning phase. I was like, let's just do a new one. We did New York already. And then it was like, all right, I love Chicago. So I was like, let's flip it. And so new route, new communities, new causes, new organizations. Escape to Chicago.
Nice.
And it just sort of snowballed from there of being like, where can we go? What can we do? And how can this be special?
And then you kind of combine Ubuntu a little bit, because where does Ubuntu come from originally?
So Ubuntu is a South African philosophy. It's an old South African philosophy, and it means I am because we are. My mom was born in South Africa, in Cape Town, so it's been this idea, this notion that I've always had baked in. Like it was never explained to me. In fact, I didn't actually know what the word was until much later in life, but I understood the concept of it.
The feeling.
I was sort of taught the feeling of it. This idea that I'm a part of a bigger thing, that I'm just one spoke in a big wheel, or that I'm a part of the tribe.
Yeah.
And then when I learned that there was an actual word for it, I was just excited. I'm like, I want to share this.
Yeah.
And like I said, like especially after the pandemic, when people were so focused on themselves, it was this opportunity to say, taking care of your community is self-care.
100%.
Because that's your foundation. That's everything.
Yeah.
And just trying to shift that perspective a little bit. And social media also complicates it, because social media starts with you and your brand. Yeah. Right? It's a weird, like...
It is a weird...
It's a weird, like...
Because you want to flex figure about what you're doing, but not, you know.
You wrote, you're a public figure. Like, it's a weird... To me, it's a weird space to be in.
Yeah.
Who said you're a public figure? But it comes from this ego. It comes from this place of I.
Yeah.
And this is a story through my brand. And so the idea was to flip it on its head and like do away with ownership, do away with the ego, and be like, no, I'm a part of something. Yeah. And then show the power in that. And it's a movement.
Yeah. And I think like watching you guys do the escape, and then in Africa, I felt that you wanted to include as many people that had that similar kind of feeling to how we can impact people, not just in our home, but across the world almost, you know?
Yeah.
And finishing, so you did the escape in Africa, and then finishing with the kids and stuff, running and like raising money for a new track as well too there. Like it just all seemed to come together and to showcase like what a few people can do for a community, right?
Yeah. And it took years, and like what people don't see is we were there for a week doing this event, but one of the organizers from Run for Schools Foundation had sent me, or sent in our group chat, the first email that I sent, which was 2 years before the event.
Yeah.
And it really kind of made me think about the work that's involved in creating a genuine relationship with people, right? And it's a lot like romantic relationships, right? There's a genuine relationship, and then there's hooking up.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's like you could just make an event. You could just show up. You could just run across South Africa. You could just hook up with the experience, or you could have a genuine relationship. And I think what came through in the execution was that the intention from the beginning was to connect with each other, with the place, with the atmosphere, with the event, was to connect. And so that took time. Yeah. You know? And I was adamant too with being like, if you're a part of this, you're not just coming to kind of take a medal, take a selfie, and then bounce. Yeah. You're pouring into this. Yeah. You got to commit to it. So
you're creating something that, like as you said, is like people have their medal and they can look back on it, but you're creating emotional connections, as you said, and just things that will last, right? And like, what do you feel that mural that you guys did too will, how would that impact those kids as they grow up and as they continue to walk past it and, you know, remember that time, that day, and then they're 10 years later and, you know, just reigniting those memories again, right?
Yeah, it's the reminder that we weren't just this fleeting thing. Like, we wanted to leave something behind, and we're still working on it. We're still raising funds, and Um, yeah, it's people are chasing majors, right? This pharmaceutical company decided that they're going to decide what's major, and there's all these other runs that are far more major. There's more experiences out there that are more major.
Yeah.
And we as people who care about the sport of running can take ownership of words like major and decide what actually impacts.
Yeah.
And I know so many people, myself included, at a period of time, you go to the race, you get the jacket, you get the medal, right? You take the picture, look what I did.
Yeah.
And the experience is so much deeper when you're giving something back to it. Like the privilege to go to Japan or London. These are expensive places, not cheap tickets, not cheap bibs. The privilege alone is exceptional, but then like the photo you bring back is just you with a medal.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look any different than the one that you took in Toronto for the 10K or the full. It's just a slightly different background, different medal.
Yeah.
What I know to be true from just experience is that like what people took away from Two Oceans, a lot of what they remember was the run that we did with the kids.
Yeah.
And we brought those medals and the T-shirts, and it was a 5K, and but that stood out more than this like run along Chapman's Peak.
Yeah, which is beautiful, right?
So it's I know that, and if you trust this idea that if you pour out, your cup will be fuller. If you trust that, it never lets you down. Yeah.
And I feel like even with social media, like there's the bad and then there's the good too. And I guess I'm thankful for my algorithm that it's showcasing like a lot more people doing these runs for a purpose, right? For their loved ones with cancer or different meanings like that too, right? And it seems like they've always, like the races have always had a charitable kind of like push a little bit, but it's like at the bottom where it's the last thing to do, right?
Yeah, it's a component, and all of them have a charity, but I think what's missing is that you get to raise funds. Yeah. So you say, I'm going to do something fantastic. If you give me money for doing something fantastic, I'm going to pass it on to such and such an organization. And it's good. At the end of the day, it's good. These organizations are getting funds that they can deliver to. The missing piece is the connection to the organization. Yeah. So we could have just collected more money and handed it over to Run for Schools, but instead, we create a relationship with the founder and the organization, and we're sending videos to each other from South Africa to the Netherlands to Toronto, and then the founder comes to Toronto and stays at my house, and then we go for a run, and he meets the community that's going to be running across South Africa, and then he comes to Start2Finish, and and he meets the organizations that we work with, and through the lens of what we're building, people are seeing firsthand the kids that the funds are going to. They're seeing the organization that the funds are going. They're seeing the work that's being done. It's physical. It's tangible, right? Instead of just putting money into a thing and a label and handing it over, they're touching it, seeing it. They're part of it. Even if they just smile off of a reel that we created or a photo, it took energy and work to make that happen, authentically connect. So that's the untapped piece. That's the missing link.
And it's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah, it takes more work. Yeah. It's harder than running the damn race.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But it's worth it.
Yeah. I hear you, because there's been some projects that it's been, so again, back to the high school, like they're hopefully going to start construction next week. That was 2 years ago that I ran the race, and then it was probably like 2 or 3 years when I first sent the proposal of everything, right? So 5 years.
Step back right now. So step back, look at this entire thing. What was harder and took more energy? Running the loops or all of the work that no one really sees?
I'm still doing.
Then you're still doing. It's way harder.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and no one sees it.
Yeah.
It's not the glamorous part, but it's the most important part.
Yeah.
And just that realization. And I think it's like cool because the network of people that understand this, that care enough to like dig a little deeper, and like watching you create this campaign. I remember having a conversation with you a couple weeks before, and I remember you being kind of down. You're like, I don't think we're going to meet these targets. And then show up on the day, and in the final hour, there's these big checks from some of these organizations. And I know what that feels like. I mean, I'm still in it. And knowing that you went through it and you understand the work, the sweat, makes the run easy. Yeah, they see you running around. How can you breathe? You're like, this is easy. This is easy compared to where the real work is. Yeah. I think the more people that learn and understand and appreciate that, the more we can start to kind of share how much more fulfilling this can be than just running and getting a medal.
Exactly. And like kind of to that point of, doing what you did with Escape, and then what you've created now with this short film with Escape, it's displaying. I don't want to talk about it too much because it's like a VIP kind of thing.
No, it's out. Right now it's in the festival circuit, it's available. It's just not available online, but it's out there. And I can't take credit for the film. Justin and Larissa.
Yeah, they did amazing.
Justin has been
some gems for real.
Yeah, and like they've been around since the beginning of Escape, so they've seen and understand it better than anyone. Yeah, and for this last one, the only conversations that we had in the beginning were around not making a running doc. Yeah. Justin's like, I don't want to do a running doc, and I said, I don't want to do a running doc. Like, what story do we want to tell? Not running related. And so instead of running being the story, it becomes the stage. It just becomes the background. And they did a great job with it. So like, I'm just having a fun time trying to share it.
Yeah. And it was amazing to watch, like, and to get to know you a bit better, right? And I think that's what a lot of people are going to take out of it, is just they know Q for whatever area that they know you in, right? And then they see the real person, that a little bit more vulnerable, understanding your background. And like what really hit me was what we were talking about a little bit before, was just, not having your dad around. And then, you got that opportunity to give him a call. And then like it didn't seem like it didn't go as planned, quote unquote, but at the same time it didn't seem to be like, it was kind of like, okay, I figured this could be an outcome, so like, do you mind going through that experience?
Yeah, you're dead on. You wouldn't reach out to a dad that you've never met before without playing the scenarios back. Yeah. Right? Like you've played it in your head maybe 100 times. So that takes the surprise out. Yeah. It still stings if you don't get the response you'd want, but it's not a surprise. Yeah. You've played out the version where he's an asshole, or he's a great guy. We're going to go for a coffee maybe, or we're not. Yeah. You've played all the versions out, so now it's just a matter of which one's it going to be. So I wasn't surprised, disappointed, but prepared. Yeah. And while Justin and Larissa chose to kind of use elements of my story to tell the bigger story, I think people, and I hope people will for sure maybe see some of me in a new light, or understand me a bit better. But more importantly, like, I hope people are able to see themselves in the story in some way, shape, or form, that their struggles, my struggles, are similar. Yeah. And how we see ourselves navigating them, either as an individual or as a element or a piece of a bigger piece. Yeah. I hope that kind of carries them through.
And that's what that is exactly kind of what I got, right? And you being a huge mentor to me in such a short time. And, just watching that, it was reassuring in a way to like, okay, as you said, I've gone through my stuff and whatnot, right? And everyone has something, right?
Yes.
It's not always the same exact, nothing is, but it's just knowing that, okay, you're not alone, and when you put yourself in positions of more so giving, you're going to, as you said, you're going to get a lot more, right? You have to be prepared for it, though, as you mentioned, because the glass is always there. And when you're looking at it, are you upset that the person has half of it? Or are you happy that you have half of it?
You have half of it.
Yeah. So
yeah. You're just, it's so overwhelming if you see yourself as just you. Right? And it feels more empowering to know that you aren't just you. That you're one element of a network of people. Even you as you stand are a collection of all the experiences and interactions you've had with people.
Yeah.
This idea of Ubuntu does away with this idea that you could be self-made, self-taught. You're not. Because every single time you talk to someone or interact with someone, you internalize some of that interaction to create your next steps and who you're going to be. Yeah. So it's about kind of accepting that notion into the way that you carry on.
That's beautiful. No, it's perfect. And so to kind of wrap up things, I like to ask 2 questions. You can kind of answer it at one time. But it's just like, when you look back at your younger self, what advice would you give him? And then to look kind of like at the future and kind of look at now, and how would you feel being proud or whatnot? What would you say to yourself as a younger you and an older you?
I think if I was looking back at younger Q, I would remind him that he's got this. You've got this. I think there were times looking back where I felt like I didn't have what I needed to keep pushing and keep going, and you get down on yourself. And I think just having that confidence of knowing that, like, if you don't have it, you'll develop it. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And the advice I'd give to my future self is just to have grace. Well, the older you get, the more valuable grace is. So,
the simple things, right?
Just simple things, slowing things down, savoring things more. That's a chapter I'm excited about. Yeah.
And I feel like I'm trying to get into that, like, space of slowing, because I feel like everything's going so fast sometimes, right? Yeah. But then, as you said, when you put your phone down and you enjoy the moments, like, time does slow down a little bit, right?
We're all guilty of it. So it's like, to me, it's not about changing it. Some people are like, I need to do this or be more this way. And you can't. Like, we live in this world and it's moving at the speed of light.
Yeah.
But what you can do is choose your moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you could be like, I'm going to move at the speed of light. The treadmill's moving that fast, so I have to move that fast, so I'm going to get hurt. But I can also get off of it.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. Awesome. When I slow down, I slow right down. I work hard, but I play hard.
Yeah.
So
that's the motto.
People think I'm out here, man. I'm not out here. I'm at home in my sweats, drinking wine, watching shows with Britt. Like, we're not, when we're in, but when we're out, we tap right out.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure.
My guy.
We all have fears, and that's okay. We hope that we have given you something to help you conquer some of your fears so you too can continue to excel at life. Thank you for listening to U Thought Wrong.